Focus. There we go. Hey guys, what's up? My name's Eric and I'm the Techy Agent. And today we're taking a look at this guy right here. This is the Insta360 One R. This is a modular camera from Insta360 with the Leica 1-inch sensor and lens. Now, I'm not going to get into the fact that this camera is a modular camera and a bunch of the other stuff. There's lots of other YouTube videos out there already right now talking about its compatibility with this little module right here, which is the 360 camera. You can see it's got a lens on either side that just pops in on this camera because it's a modular design. So we're not going to cover a lot of that kind of stuff because I'm a little bit late to the game on this video. There's lots of other YouTube videos that talk about the modular capabilities of this camera. The only thing that I want to discuss today is the image quality coming from the 1-inch Leica sensor and basically answering the question, is this worth the money that you spend on getting that 1-inch sensor and Leica lens? Is it worth the money? Because combined together with both of these together with the 360 lens and the Leica sensor and the camera body and battery and everything else, I spent $700 on this camera. So it's an expensive action camera if that's all it is. But I would argue actually that this is a camera with a lot of professional qualities to it. So let's go ahead and get into the video and talk about that. Yes, there's lots of artificial intelligence that's bringing really great image quality to, phone cameras now on really, really tiny sensors. That being said, a larger sensor in general means better low light performance and better image quality for a lot of reasons that we won't get into today. So the question then is, because this has a large sensor in this little compact format, does this mean that this would in theory be, a good low light performing camera, a better potentially camera than something like the Osmo action camera from DJI? This is a camera that I've used extensively. I love the DJI Osmo action camera, and I'm going to continue to use that camera. This new camera here isn't really going to replace that because that has some capabilities that this just doesn't have. And again, that's for another video. But what I just want to talk about on this video is the image quality coming from this 1-inch Leica sensor. I'm going to go ahead and interrupt the broadcast here real quick to go ahead and just give you a quick comparison of the video and audio between the DJI Osmo action camera and the Insta360 One R. The Insta360 One R has a slightly wider field of view, and it has a little bit brighter and sharper audio, which in one sense gives clear audio, but it's also a little bit harsh. So I'm gonna just go ahead and play some sample clips here between the two cameras so you can get an idea of the dynamic range of the audio quality, the field of view, and those kinds of things between the Insta360 One R and a competing camera like the Osmo Action. Okay, so this is what I would call a vlog test. I have both of these cameras, the DJI Osmo Action and the Insta One R, both about a foot away from my face right now, so you can see kind of what these cameras would do in a vlog style setup here. I'm walking with one in each arm, so there's the One R, there's the Osmo Action, okay? And you guys can kind of see how they both are performing with their Steadicam, digital Steadicam features turned on. Both of them have the audio wind reduction turned off. I don't really like wind reduction unless absolutely necessary because I feel like it really impacts the audio for the negative. So what you're hearing now are both of the camera microphones without the wind reduction features turned on. So this is going to be the natural audio going into each camera. Now, if you were to turn on wind reduction, on the cameras, you would get a noticeably diminished quality of audio. So this is kind of just, again, a vlog set up in broad daylight. Walking around, you can see how the Steadicam features are going to be working on both cameras, how the audio is going to be working on both cameras. The case that I want to make here in this video is that this sensor brings some additional professional level quality to the camera that you're not going to get from the DJI Osmo action camera, that you're not going to get from, you know, the latest GoPro cameras. That the low light performance in this and that the image quality that you're getting from this take it to a level that's above and beyond a lot of the competition, and really it competes on a professional level, in my opinion. So one of the things that makes this camera so compelling are all of the different shooting modes that it offers. And that's what makes it, in my opinion, a very professional camera, because a real professional camera should have lots of different shooting modes for whatever sort of applications you want to, you know, use. So the great thing is this starts off with 5.3K, and you can shoot in 24, 25, or 30 frames per second. You're seeing one of the problems that I have with the small screen is that you can oftentimes accidentally touch stuff you're not trying to touch. So 5.3K at 24, 25, or 30 frames per second. 16:9 aspect ratio. So very professional. Love that. Very high resolution. Love that. And then you can go down to 4K. And at 4K, you can shoot in 24, 25, 30, or 60 frames per second in 4K. So that's great. 2.7K, 24, 25, 30, or 60 frames in 2.7K. Then once you get down all the way to 1080p, you can actually shoot all the way up to 120 frames per second. So that's great. You can basically essentially get slow motion out of this camera if you're shooting 4K resolution or less. 4K, you can slow your frame rate down by a factor of 2, so you can cut it in half speed, and still get buttery smooth slow motion shots in 4K. Once you go down all the way to 1080p, then you get you know, a factor of 4. You can slow it down by 4 times and still have buttery smooth video coming out of the camera. So one of the things that I love here is what you're seeing, which is the ability to shoot high resolutions, multiple frame rates. Really, really like that ability on this camera. Another thing that makes this camera truly professional is what you're seeing here on the side, and that is this has this little kind of trap door that can open up, and it opens up to the charging port, which is USB-C. Now, the great thing about this is that it's not just a charging port. You can also purchase an adapter that allows you to plug into the USB-C and then convert it into an audio input source for an external microphone. So in theory, this could be a vlog camera or a more professional camera with professional audio being fed into the camera. So let's go ahead and just kind of do a little thought experiment here, or a little kind of visual experiment. Could this camera be used as a vlog setup? Well, let's go ahead and just kind of do a quick demo, and then let's talk about it. So as I'm driving here, you can see that the dynamic range on this camera is really, really good. So the dash of my car here, it's dusty and dirty, but you can see that it's properly exposed. You can you know, see the screen, you can see my dash. Even though it's kind of in the shadow, it's properly exposed, it looks good. And at the same time, you can also see that the outside is properly exposed. So we're getting HDR video, or high dynamic range video, you know, with everything properly exposed, looking good. And that's just one of the things that makes this camera so great. Particularly, I think it's what makes this camera a contender for a lot of people who would be vloggers. And just because, you know, right out of the box, you're getting this kind of video. I haven't done anything to touch this up. I haven't messed with the colors. I haven't messed with the shadows, with the highlights, with anything at all. What you're seeing right now is exactly what came out of the camera with no touch up at all. And so that's one of the things that I think makes this camera compelling, is that the image quality is so good right out of the box that for a vlogger, there could be very little post-production where you're not sitting there messing with colors and all of that kind of stuff, messing with exposure settings, trying to get everything, you know, properly exposed. The camera's done all of the heavy lifting for you, and it just looks good right out of the box. So here's just kind of an example of how the camera performs in a low light scenario. It's right now shooting at 5.3K, 30 frames per second, or it could be 24, I'm not sure. But low light scenario, it's almost 9 p.m. at night here, or 9 p.m. in the evening, and so it's starting to get dark. It's you know, here in Ohio in May, so it starts to get dark at around 9 p.m. And you can see here that here sitting in my car with no lights around me or anything like that, I'm still, it's dark, certainly dark, but the camera is able to adjust and able to see me without struggling too much, without a lot of noticeable noise, compared to a lot of other action cameras that are on the market. So this is just an example again of the reason why this camera is arguably a good camera for those who want a little bit of performance in an action camera kind of setup, just simply because of something exactly like this low light scenario where you may want to capture some video. If you're looking for just an action camera, the DJI Osmo action camera, in my opinion, is hard to beat. It feels a lot more durable than this device, and it's got the dual screens, you know, a front-facing screen and a rear screen, both of them, or this rear screen touch screen, whereas this just has kind of this little 1-inch touch screen on the back. Not a great action camera, in my opinion, but the image quality on this is a lot better. So if you're looking for just an action camera, go with GoPro, go with DJI Osmo Action. If you're looking for a 360 camera, that's where I would go with something like the Ricoh Theta Z1 or Z2. I can't remember which one I have in my bag. I also had the Insta360 X, which is a great consumer level 360 camera. Now that I've got this little 360 module, it essentially is an Insta360 One X, or has that ability on this camera. But where this camera really, really shines and sets itself apart from the competition is the 1-inch Leica sensor that just brings a kind of image quality to this compact form that you really can't get anywhere else, and none of the competitors are doing. So the person that I think should buy this as opposed to buying a true action camera or a true 360 camera is the person that wants something that's super compact, or needs something super compact, something that's a little bit durable, maybe weather resistant and weatherproof, and still shoots really good video. That's where this camera kind of fits that niche, and really does kind of become a Swiss Army knife of cameras of sorts. So hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit a like if you liked this video. Make sure to hit a thumbs down if you hated it, and subscribe as well. So thanks for watching. My name is Eric and I'm the Techie Agent. We'll catch you next time.